and let me share the screen. Desktop 2. Okay. All right. এখানে যে ভিডিও প্যানেলের অপশনটা এটা আমি ডিসেবল করে দেই, হাইড ভিডিও প্যানেল and hide floating meeting controls. Floating meeting controls তো থাকুক. Okay guys, welcome back to our interview prep class, and today is basically the class we will follow from last where we left, right? So far we are trying to let me open this presentation document actually so that you will understand where was we. Okay. All right, so before I start today's class, okay, we need to go through a little bit of concept, because without concept, straight jumping into something very technical will not be a good idea. So let's start with this. So welcome to our class 4. So officially we are doing 4th class today. And last 3 class we tried to prepare, right? We tried to actually prepare to talk about ourselves, and while preparing we basically practiced that as a software QA engineer, right? How we will explain ourselves. So this was our first. So this is the thing, right? Now what did we so far understand? So far whatever we understand is something like some softwares, right? So this is the first point of entry in this IT world, that you might be a part of a software development. So first just think about, it could be a bank website, it could be a health insurance website, right? Or it could some other website. So whatever it is, at the end of the product is a software. Now sometime some people works on software which is hardware based, like you don't have any UI or something, like think like you are working on a big calculator, but which is a machine, different machine. And mobile testing, mobile is also part of this software. And then we talked about something, this, the second image here, right? That developer, what is developer QA, how the team work, right? What are the
ক্লাস কি রেকর্ড করতেছেন?
recording is on. Okay, so you can see there could be a business. I told in first 2 class, I think sometime, that amigos, like 3 amigos, 4 amigos, right? QA, tester, developer. And most importantly, to support our first part of the interview, tell me about yourself, right? We have tried to understand something this. It's called entire development process, how people work, right? Requirement gathering, sprint planning, grooming, okay, those kind of things. And then we practically try to see Jira and all those things, right? So this was our so far achievement as of 3 class. Now from 4th class, which is today, we will talk about this part. This is like, additionally, you will say, additionally I developed and maintain a Java based Maven automation framework, right? Now, while you want to support this part of the page, then you have to basically understand something is like automated test framework development, right? And till the manual testing part, you are like a ordinary person for your team. But when this part come, the framework development and maintenance, it's an advanced part, and it gives you a feel, not only that you are a software test engineer, you become a part of actually development also, okay? Because there you have some development work, okay? And to go inside these tools and so to go inside this framework development concept, right, we need to understand some tools and technology. And my advice to you, that when you see these tools and technology, for next at least 4 class, not 4, 5 to 6 class, we will wrap it up. So make sure you just think and practice only these tools and technology, which is something called BDD. This is one piece of the framework. Then Java, this is another piece. Okay. And then Selenium is another piece of this framework. Cucumber is another piece. Okay. So make sure that you understand that BDD and Cucumber, these are two different things, but they combined inside a framework. So I will go and page object model programming, which is a Java advanced level computer programming we will learn. And then there is something called Maven, these tools and technology also. And they all actually combined together give you the complete feel and complete understanding of the framework development. Okay. So that is the thing we will go and try to learn from today onward. Okay. So now
আসসালামু আলাইকুম ভাই।
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম।
জি ভাই, রেকর্ড করতেছেন তো?
Yes, recording is going on.
আচ্ছা, ঠিক
Okay.
আছে।
Now, if you see at this point, after seeing the previous slide, you might be in a situation like this, right? Like what are all these things? Okay. So whatever it is, right? I mean, whatever it is you couldn't understand at this point, but if you are learning software test and test automation for IT job, right? Okay, then it will make sense for you to go and try to learn this. Otherwise, it will be something tough for you. Okay, if you are not willing to learn software test and test automation, then it's not for you. Okay, whatever it is, it's just a presentation I created. Okay, so we will start with something that is called install. So just look into this slide. Okay, so like the way we start, that is the wrong way. Let's say you said that you will learn about computer software development with framework or something, and you started installing Java JDK, and then you started writing code. This is the traditional way people actually try to learn in school or some other institute I saw, but actually this is not a proper way of learning. Okay, so you are continue, you started, you install Java JDK and you just write code, right? This is not the way, and that is the biggest thing you have to understand first. Okay, then what is the thing we have to do first? Okay, we must have to understand the concept. So that is the thing I'm just driving right now. I'll take you to the concept first, and from the concept we will go to hands-on. Okay, hands-on means that not only concept enough, we will now do the practice with working straight to something practical. Okay, and then you have to understand the process. Okay, now see, last class I think I lost the last class recording. In last class I have showed you something like writing test cases based on a website, and then writing more and more test cases. In one point of time it becomes the regression suite to help the regression suite, right? This kind of thing I have discussed. I will show you again in the end of this class today. So that is the process. Now remember, software is one thing, team is one thing, and process is another, right? Process means like there are lots of things together, combines one output. Okay, and that is, we call this all together doing things is we call process. Okay, now let's go and there is another very important thing I have seen student is lack of understanding is that connection to each other. Like if you see here, BDD, Java, Cucumber, Maven, Selenium, and object-oriented programming, there is a connection to each other. You need to understand that connection also. Okay, if you don't understand the connection between them, then it will be something you just learn like a bird, right? Whatever you see, you just learn. But if you understand the connection, then if somebody asks you about C# with BDD, you can talk. If somebody said, okay, JavaScript with Cucumber, you can talk. Okay, so we will try to understand that connection also. It's a very important thing, and we need to understand the connection. So that's all about this talk. Okay, now software. So now here comes the place where you see software. I just said that we are working on test automation. Now we are not talking about manual test. Okay, that you write a test case, test plan, and all those things. Now we are talking about something called test automation. Sorry, I was just closed my door. Okay, and framework. So this three thing is three different world. Okay, software you understand. Test automation is now something which will, you know, test on top of that you will automate them, right? Instead of you, something else will automatically perform your test. So that is test automation. And framework is a one kind of, you can think like template. When you create one template that can be reused again and again, that's why it's called framework. All right, now let's go. So these three different words, every word has its own meaning. Okay, but together they represent a very big concept in IT industry, which is software test automation framework. It's a whole new world. Okay, and then to understand, we'll see a simple real life analogy. So from here, we'll go and start seeing a practical real life analogy. Don't get bored, just be with me. I'll try to give you a analogy which is something that we see in our day-to-day life, and from there we will drive ourselves to understand framework. Okay, automation framework. So let's see this real life analogy. So there is a guy which I just named him as a Tom, and think like he loves coffee, right? And there is another guy who actually prepare a fresh cup of coffee for Tom. So these two guy here is a very related to each other, right? One guy loves coffee and another guy prepare coffee. Okay, and then if you see here, to prepare this coffee, right, the coffee maker follows the same process every time, right? Like all those things that needed to do, right? Get some fresh coffee bean, warm some water, pour the water into a coffee mug. All these things he's doing every every time whenever Tom is asking for a coffee, right? And after that we come here to see this process again. Okay, now if Jack creates coffee and he thinks that is there any way I can make this entire process faster. Faster means like I don't need to do it like taking 5-10 minutes, maybe in 1 minute or in a very less time I can do it. So he then found a solution, and I think you all know the solution. The solution is this. Okay, so if you look here, the solution is a digital coffee maker, which I think we know nowadays, right? So you can place instead of you follow the entire step, you place a digital coffee maker that will do your job, and it will do faster, better, reliable, right? Something like that. If you put a proper input, then it can do a proper coffee for Jack every time. Now let's connect the analogy to this IT topic that we are learning, right? Assume coffee is like a software. So here, the entire concept, you can think like your website or whatever you are working as a team member for a development team, right? Is the software. So in our case, coffee here. Okay, and then Tom is the client. You can think like you are working for Tom and you are Jack. Okay, Jack is like one test engineer in IT industry, and Jack tests. In the last analogy we prepared, like think like now not a coffee, just think like a test engineer. So a test engineer has some repeated work. You think like in this example at the bottom right corner, that whenever you do a test for a software like a website, you have to open the browser again and again. You have to enter some URL to that website. You have to fill up a form, right? Lots of things you will do. You will click submit button. So this is think like same process like a coffee making, and you can think like a tester's life, right? Now to make this work, repeated work, better, like unlike the machine, coffee machine, a test engineer can actually develop a framework. Now while test engineer develop a framework, that time all these things comes. Okay, so a coffee maker, whatever it's inside, you can think like this is the main engine for the framework to develop, right? Like Java, Cucumber, Selenium, and all those things. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Let's summarize everything here. So our software means our, let's say, website that we are working. Okay, and in the real life I'm just talking about the coffee. And then test steps, right, is like this one. You just do these things in your real world website every day again and again, right? And then the same process for the real life, where you need a machine and you can create a framework, right? So just left side and right side, try to understand the real and what is we are doing in the test automation, I mean test industry. Okay, that's all. That's lots of tech. Okay, it's gone. Okay, now let's do a little bit. Now think about, forget about all those things. Now just let's just go inside this, what it called, the coffee maker machine, right? So here this picture is showing different parts of a coffee maker, right? It contains some different parts. Okay, and then when all parts, so when every parts work together, then it's actually works perfectly, right? But the problem is here, at this point we will try to get aside this coffee maker, because this is not the thing we are going to learn, right? Our target is to learn something called automation framework. It's just an analogy to give you, take you there. Okay, so now let's come here. Okay, so let's deep dive inside a automation now. Okay, so a automation framework, unlike a coffee machine, okay, all you can think like it's a similar thing. However, for automation framework, you will use BDD, Cucumber, Java, Selenium, and these 4 or 5 tools and technology to complete it. Okay, that's all about this. And now, okay, now here comes the part where we will start doing hands-on practice. Okay, now after I gave you all the concept, right, analogy or all those things, now we will go for a practice. And before, when we start doing the practice, okay, we will do a, practical, like let's say real website. How did a test engineer automate? How did they create the framework? How do they use those different tools, right? All those things we will practice. And to start it, we will just start onboarding things like something like, download like Java, JDK, and all those things. All right. And then we have, before I just move away from this slide and start writing code or installing things, I just want to give you something. If you look here, a car with lots of different parts disassembled, right? And right now, if you think about the framework, these are also disassembled. Okay, but our end goal is to the car where engine will be our tools and technology, just a logical thinking. Okay, Maven is the trigger point. So Maven is the thing that actually that will run this entire car, and this guy is laughing is the you. Okay, so your entire goal is now that you will develop an engine, and then you will drive the engine with Maven, and then you will drive your automation in your company. Okay, that's all about this PowerPoint presentation, guys. Now before I go back and start writing, I just want to give, because we lost the last class, right? So for that reason, I think it's better to have a small look into the last class also. So that, I mean, just a high level, so that we all are in same page. Okay. So for last class, the main important part was this. So whatever I talk on last class, the most interesting point to capture here is that you have a website. Let me open it in a presentation mode. So you have a website, you will go and get a job to a company like this is actually a website which is pretty similar like Facebook. Okay. So you can think that a QA engineer's first job is to break down the system into smaller pieces and then write test cases, right? So you do login, and on login you can write these 2 big test case scenarios. Okay, and then, oh sorry, this is only about the page. Okay, this is only about the page. So in the page itself you can make these tests that, okay, the page is loading and the logo is there. Okay, can you give me 1 second? I think my little one is today. Amma, what disturb this? না না, ওই যে বাচ্চা চিকুর পাকুর দিতেছ না, তুমি ওর উপর নিয়ে যাও নাকি? Sorry. Okay. So this is the page itself. We can generate some test scenarios, and then if we go a little bit more, okay, we can then So this is for the page. See, all this test case is just for this one page only, not functionality. Okay. And this is the second scenario is actually functionality. It's basically you will click all the link and check that the link is taking you to the linked page, not taking you to the blank page or something. Okay. So that's one. And then we said that we'll have break down the other part, which is the login part, and you can actually write lots of test cases on the login part, like login with valid user information, login with valid ID but password field empty, login with blank ID. By the way, these are the your daily things. Okay, you always come into IT job, and then you always have to think like this, that okay, well, how different way I can break the system. Okay, you just cannot say that I will log in with a valid information, right? That's a positive test. And if you see 4, 5, 6, 7, they are actually different negative edge case test, right? So, and then registration is another part you can do, break down this and then test it, right? Now, after that, we said that in the first month of your project, you will write some test cases in every sprint, and then you get a count of the test cases of total, let's say 102. Then you continue working with this team on the second month. Okay, again two sprint, 15 days per. You created 102 test case. Now question is, if you go to now second month, is it really 102? So I was actually put it a question mark here, right? That 102, and the second one is also 102, but actually is it 102? I think it's 102, but interestingly, you cannot skip your old test, which we call regression. And this is the reason actually test automation came into the IT world. Otherwise, there was no needed. If there is people like 500 people can work as a test engineer and the company can pay, then maybe every people can take 5 functionality and then test. Then it would be easy. However, automation was needed because if you continue growing, see, only for 2 months you have now 204 test case. Think about 3 months, 4 months, or 5 months. What will happen? You have to do all this old test again and again, right? So to solve that problem, company brought a idea of automation, and where we need this kind of softwares: Java, Selenium, UFT. UFT is the market pioneer. It was the software called QTP before came into the market to give this big missing piece of IT to support. And then Selenium came, and Selenium was free. That's why it took more attention. And Selenium gives one nice thing is that you can adopt any programming language. Okay. Now there are lots of things, right? Playwright, Cypress, and lots of things, but that is beyond our scope for that now, for this time. So this is the automation, and automation does what a manual testers. When the manual testers works becomes boring, tedious, then automation comes that a guy can write a framework, and then the framework will run the entire automation, and this guy will enjoy. Okay. Okay, that was our last class, and we have talked about that you need Java JDK installation. So this is very standard. I don't want to drive through this. Okay, let me close it. Let me close this presentation also. Now from here we will start doing hands-on practice. But before that, so far whatever you see, do you guys have any question on that? Maybe you can follow this video one more time, so you will have question. Right, floating meeting controls. Okay. Okay, now today we will start something from the scratch. From the scratch means that first we will try to see there is a let me just draw a small image. So if you see, we said that what we will learn, that we will learn Java, and then BDD, and then we will learn Cucumber, Then I said that we'll learn other technology called object-oriented programming, and there are Selenium also we will learn, right? Before we learn, if you look here, we have to go through a order. So the first thing we need to learn is Java, okay? And then rest of the thing is basically plug in your creativity inside this Java. So you can think like Java is the main entry point to develop a framework. So we have to start with writing some Java code first, okay? Until unless we get a little bit clear on Java code, there is no point of learning this all other things, especially Selenium also. There is no point that you learn this, okay? We need to start from Java here and then slowly we'll move to other part. So let's go and start learning with Java, okay? Okay, so let me take this thing out. Okay, 1 second. Okay, okay. So what is wrong with this thing? So Java, right? A computer programming language, right? Now, what is a language? A language is something that represents a communication between two parties, right? So if you think about in the sense of computer world, this language will create a communication between a human to a machine. That is the first thing you have to understand. That's why this thing is very important in IT because let me show you something very 1 second. New incognito browser. So here, let's go to our favorite website, which we know all. So this is a website, right? So in IT world, whatever you see, it's just a visual representation, but actually behind the scene, a computer programming, like see this window that I'm just moving in front of you, it's inside a computer. To run it, a computer need to understand what to do. And to make computer understand, there is a code written. This is we call code. So if you see here, the same page, and I have opened something called a developer window of the browser. For the same page, there is a code available, right? You see this? This is the code. Now, what does it I mean by code here? 1 second. Yeah. So in the right side, if you see the code, that is actually you are seeing at the left side. So you are just seeing some visual representation, but underlying it's a code, right? So in computer world, there are lots of different language to talk to computer. So you can think like someone or some group of people learn this language, which we call JavaScript here, this language, okay? So this is basically called JavaScript. This is another language which is pretty much similar to Java, but it's for more faster execution inside a browser. And then this language is basically giving you this. So someone is talking through a language to a user who is seeing this page. Okay. So there is one guy here or a girl who is writing this code. That means this this guy is writing a language to give computer instruction that hey computer, can you please go and do these things for me? They put a page where Facebook will be written, a ID and password field, and a create new account button will be there, right? So that is the goal that guy or girl has written this JavaScript code, right? Now I can show you something very interesting. This is code that is you are seeing. So let's say this password field, right? If I select this is specific line of code here, div class 6 LUI55R is representing the password field. So if I right click and say delete element, boom, see this password field is gone. All right, let's say Facebook, this logo. So here there is an image, there is a language written, I can just say delete it. So that is gone, right? Now this code is actually written into somewhere, and every time you go browse the page, the same code will come back and show you everything, right? So that's the understanding of a computer programming language. Now we will not learn JavaScript because this is learned by a web developer, a web software developer who actually represent page to the user. In our case, we will learn another computer programming language which we call Java. Okay. Now, what is this programming language contains? What is a language contains actually? What is a language contains, right? Grammar. That's it. Then we can just give some technical names: syntax, algorithm, logic. That's it. I think don't make you more confused. Okay. So a language contains grammar. That's the first thing you need to understand. That means, let's say I want to write something. I just cannot go and say, my name is Khan. That is not the way, right? If I want to follow Java language grammar, then I have to follow how Java is giving us the grammar. So definitely there is a grammar for Java, right? Okay. Then syntax. Syntax is basically when you write something in Java, that becomes a syntax. Now you can write something and then you can share to other. This way syntax can be shared. Algorithm is the mathematics. You can think like computer mathematics. How you want to calculate that problem or solve that problem. Logic is something that sometime you need to find out some logic to solve some problem. Okay. Okay, so this is the basic of a language. Okay. Now let's start with a simple Java software development. Here we will start our journey. Okay. Now this is very important that you learn Java. Otherwise, all other things will be very difficult for you. But if you properly learn Java, you don't need to learn the entire Java like the full book. Whatever I'll show you, if you can at least get a very good understanding on that part, then everything will be easy for you. As I understand, right? That's why the job are available to the market. Okay. Now remember, we said that everything. Now you are doing a software development with me, which is a Java-based software, right? Everything in software world, we start with a. Do you guys remember requirement? Just think like that. Your world will be inside some requirement. You sleep, the requirement will spin in your brain when you become a really good IT engineer, because you might have to solve the problem of this requirement. Okay, so everything in software world, we start with a requirement. For our Java learning practice, we will start with a very simple requirement, and the requirement in high level
ভাই স্ক্রিনটা একটু যদি বড় করেন
হ্যাঁ wait
দেখা গেল একেবারে ছোট আসছে হ্যাঁ
good now good
জি জি ঠিক আছে
okay so the requirement in high level is developing a employee salary calculator for a ABC company. Clear that what is our requirement? This is the high level. So just think, just right the moment you start thinking that you are joining a team with me, so I'm the lead software developer of that team, and I'm bringing the requirement to you. And to make this requirement more understandable, to make this requirement more clear, I will share some professional business requirement document. Okay, actually let me write it. Business requirement document. So let's go and see that first document. Okay, so this document will be given to you. Last class actually I couldn't record and everything was puzzled, so I didn't put it any document so you don't get confused. Okay, so this is the requirement. You can think like that we will work in uh, 1 day or maybe 2 day, 1.5 day to complete, right? But in real world it could be like a 6 month project. That okay, there are 7 version of this requirement. The first version you can think like small piece of the puzzle. Then the second, third version is something, fourth version is something, and in this way it will come to us. So let's see what is the first version is saying. Okay, so I will open this version 1. And this is your, sorry, it was actually technical requirement because you are a developer. If you think about QA, right now you have to think about as a developer, but as a QA, technical requirement is actually not pretty much good for you. It's maybe functional requirement document. However, you are learning some development with me, right? So that's why it will give you very boost in your career. Okay, technical requirement document. So this is the way requirement comes to a developer most of the time, but everybody is a part of the development, right? So everyone, because if even if you don't want to read it, you have to understand so that you can test it properly. Okay, so what is the requirement description here say? So if you read, you guys can see the full screen, right? Nicely, that's font, everything is good, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. So the problem is a small startup software developer company assigned a program to create that will calculate the pay of its employee. Okay, so just a simple, right? You know that a employee's payment, what it could be. Okay, for the first version of the program, the company wants the program to accept an employee's name, the number of hours the employee worked, and the hourly pay rate. The program will then calculate the gross pay, display the employee's name, number of hour work, pay rate, and the gross pay. So this is the description. And if we go a little bit down, this is called input process and output analysis of that requirement. By the way, if you look into the computer world as a computer engineer, software engineer, there is nothing outside of input process and output. Everything you see in a computer is these three. It actually comes under this three column. One is a input will come, a process will happen, and the output will go. That's it. Just think like that. Do you see something out of that? Even if you think like printing something, right? You are using Facebook constantly or Instagram or whatever. You are actually inputting. Some process is happening and you are seeing output. If you don't put input, you are seeing only output, right? So this is the analysis every test engineer, every developer does first after reading the requirement, the part of the requirement. Okay, requirement is actually big. This is one part of the requirement. Okay. Now it says that there are three things in the IPO life cycle. One is that there should be a name come. So this is the input, the first part. The system that you will design will take a name of the employee. Now why I named it this way, don't worry about that right now. This is a standard of Java syntax. I mean programming syntax. But there is something I have created for you guys. You will be follow that, so you will understand those things. Okay, this is called input. And the input we will put another input is how many hour that guy is worked, the first number, and then what is that employee's hourly rate. and then we'll go for a process. This is we have to design also. Here comes the logic, or here comes the calculation, the algorithm. To process a employee's hourly salary, you have to calculate a gross pay equals to total hour multiply by hourly rate. That's it. It's a very simple algorithm. But in our real world, actually, the algorithm will be not that simple. There will be lots of different algorithms, right? However, it is, we will see some complicated algorithm or logic in our next, the following requirement. And then the program should output the name of employee, hour worked. So whatever you inputted, all those plus the gross pay. This is the receipt that the output will come for the. With this, someone will pay the employee that okay, you worked $10 per hour, 40 hours. So 400 is your pay. So that will be printed. Clear? This is the IPO. So every time you from now see something, try to visualize or try to organize things like this. Okay, so that it will become more clear for you. And then for a developer, now this part is only for developer, but I want you guys know those names so that you guys can talk in your interview or wherever you talk, right? You can talk, yeah, I looked into the flowchart, I looked into the use case diagram to understand the system. So this will give you a 1 point extra in your interview. This is in IT world we call flowchart. A flowchart is a diagram that shows that how the program will behave, okay, from starting to end. So the program will start. So if someone click, the software will start. It will take the input, then it will calculate the gross pay, then it will display output. Now see this flow. You cannot do output first and then take input, right? So that's the reason it created. This is the way in your real world also. In our real world, we see lots of this kind of document to understand the requirement more clear. Okay. And then the last one is completely out of your scope, but still I'm putting it here so you guys get a good idea that how actually developer develops. Nowadays, these things I don't think people do a lot, but at least at the initial stage in the brain, people did do this. Before you write one line of code, you write something we call pseudocode. Okay, so you learned about flowchart, and then you also can write a pseudocode. Now, pseudocode, you don't need to follow any grammar, just English, but make sure that there is some standard you follow. Okay, the standard is that the variable name should not have any space, this kind of blah blah thing. I will tell you this later in the Java part. Okay, then the name should be a type of string, right? This kind of things you write a flowchart, and the program should display something, right? To understand, to communicate a program, a software to a user, it needs to print something. Hey, this is employee calculator, please follow the instruction. Then please enter the name of employee, please display, then you take the input, right? This is called flowchart. Okay, and after that, that's it. I think that's it. And this is the test, right? In every steps, so this is unit test. I think you don't need this to understand. This is unit test that developer does, that every input what is happening. However, we have to focus on the requirement description, the requirement analysis, design, and then flowchart. The flowchart and pseudocode. Okay. Okay, 9:51. Okay, I think at this point I will take a break. Break means I will actually ask question, or you guys, if you have questions so far, just let's discuss a little bit. Then we will start doing the second part. Okay. So what have we talked? We talked about 1 second. What I did? Why did I close this? I should not close it. So we talked about a framework concept. So this is our framework concept, and then we talked about some regression concept. Okay, and then we talked about some note that I'm creating for you guys here, Java, and then we started writing a software using Java, and then I presented you some requirements. What do you think about these things as at this point? Let's discuss 8 minutes. Okay. ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম। হ্যাঁ, বল।
আজকে আমাদের আসলে এজেন্টটা কি, আজকে কি বিষয় আমাদেরকে মানে দিতে চাচ্ছেন, আমি আসলে বুঝিনি। মানে আপনি দেখা এখান থেকে মানে আমি এক স্লাইড থেকে আরেক স্লাইডে যাচ্ছি, তো
Yeah,
আমি
yeah, no
আসলে
problem,
বুঝতে
no
পারছি না
problem.
আজকে আসলে আমাদের পড়াশোনার এজেন্ডাটা কি আসলে
Yeah,
মেইন।
yeah. Let's go. Let's go. I think you miss the first part, like very beginning. Okay, so the
Yes,
agenda is this.
because I started from
No,
8:12 maybe.
no problem, no problem. You actually the agenda is this. So till the last class, right? Our main goal is to understand that how we talk about ourselves as a manual tester. Just think like this, okay? So if you see that we have talked about requirement, right? Then planning, grooming, meetings, okay? Test case
লাস্ট
writing,
ক্লাসে আমরা আলোচনা করছিলাম এটা
right?
নিয়ে।
এগুলো আমরা আলোচনা করছি লাস্ট ক্লাস, রাইট? সো এইগুলো আলোচনা করতে করতে আমরা কিছু জিনিস শিখছি, যেমন সফটওয়্যার প্রজেক্ট, রাইট? তুমি ছবিগুলো খেয়াল করো, সফটওয়্যার প্রজেক্ট, দেন এ টিম, রাইট? বিএ, কিউএ। এরপরে আমরা গেছি হলো প্রসেস, লাইক স্প্রিন্ট প্ল্যানিং, গ্রুমিং, রাইট? ওই জিনিসগুলো। সো এটা ছিল আমাদের প্রিটি মাচ লাস্ট ক্লাস পর্যন্ত। দিস ক্লাস উই স্টার্টেড লার্নিং অ্যাবাউট দ্য এডিশনাল পার্ট অফ আওয়ার টক। সো আমরা যখন ইন্টারভিউর সাথে কথা বলবো তখন এই পার্টটুকু আমরা বলবো, কারণ আমরা শুধুমাত্র ম্যানুয়াল টেস্টার বললে আমাদের কিন্তু ইন্টারভিউর সাকসেস রেটটা খুব কম হবে। সো আমাদেরকে ইন্টারভিউয়ারে এটাও বলতে হবে যে আমি সাথে সাথে একটা অটোমেশন ফ্রেমওয়ার্ক ডেভেলপ করছি, রাইট? সো এই পার্টটা আমরা আজকে শুরু করছি শেখা। আর এই পার্টটা যদি করতে হয় তাহলে আমাদের কিছু টুলস আর টেকনোলজি আইটিতে শিখতে হবে। আর ওগুলা হলো যেরকম বিডিডি, এটা কি জিনিস শিখতে হবে, রাইট? জাভা কি জিনিস একটু শিখতে হবে, সিলেনিয়াম, কিউকাম্বার, অবজেক্ট ওরিয়েন্টেড প্রোগ্রামিং। এখন এইখানে তো আছে অনেকগুলো টুল, রাইট? আমরা শুরু করছিল জাভা দিয়ে। প্রথমে আমরা জাভা শিখবো একটুখানি, এবং একটুখানি জাভা শেখার পরেই আমরা চলে যাবো হলো বিডিডি, কিউকাম্বার, সিলেনিয়াম, এই পার্টগুলোতে। বুঝা গেছে? তো এটা হলো আমাদের এজেন্ডা আজকে। আর এটা এই জাভাটা যখন আমরা শুরু করছি, এইটারে করার জন্য, মানে এটা প্রপারলি প্র্যাকটিস করার জন্য এখানে যদি নোটটা খেয়াল করো, প্রথমে আমরা বোঝার চেষ্টা করছি আসলে জাভাটা কি, একটা কম্পিউটার প্রোগ্রামিং ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ, রাইট? জাভাতে আছে কি? ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ বলতেই তো বোঝায় গ্রামার, নাকি? বাংলা বলো, ইংলিশ বলো, এভরিথিং ইউ টক অ্যাবাউট ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ ইজ এ গ্রামার, রাইট? এরপরে জাভার কিছু জিনিস আছে যেমন সিনট্যাক্স, অ্যালগোরিদম, লজিক, এগুলো হলো গিয়ে জাস্ট এই গ্রামারটা ফলো করে যখন আমি একটা কিছু করতে যাব, রাইট, তখন আমি কি ধরনের লজিক ইউজ করব, এই সমস্ত জিনিস আমরা শিখবো, ওকে? এবং ফাইনালি আমি বলছি যে আমরা যদি এখন একটা সফটওয়্যার ডেভেলপ করি তাহলে তো এখন জাস্ট ওভার দ্য হেড কিছু তো ডেভেলপ করা যাবে না, যে কথা নেই বার্তা নেই কোড খুলে লেখা শুরু করে দিলাম। সো আমরা একটা প্রফেশনাল রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ডকুমেন্ট ফলো করব, আর ওটা হলো এইটা একটা ছোট সফটওয়্যার বানাবো, যে সফটওয়্যারটা হলো একটা এমপ্লয়ি ক্যালকুলেটার, এমপ্লয়ির স্যালারি ক্যালকুলেট করবে, ঠিক আছে, জাভা দিয়ে। আর ওইটা করতে গেলে এই রিকোয়ারমেন্টগুলো আমাদের বুঝতে হবে। সো প্রথম রিকোয়ারমেন্টটা আমি ওয়ান করছি এখানে, যে প্রথম রিকোয়ারমেন্টটা হলো ভেরি সিম্পল, জাস্ট প্রোগ্রাম যেটা আমরা বানাবো সেটা কিছু ইনপুট নেবে, তারপরে একটা ক্যালকুলেশন করবে এবং আউটপুট দেবে। ক্লিয়ার?
ইয়েস,
বুঝা গেছে?
হ্যাঁ জি ভাইয়া।
এনিওয়ান হ্যাভ এনি আদার কোশ্চেন? গো অ্যাহেড।
ভাইয়া কোশ্চেন ছিল।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, অবশ্যই।
কোশ্চেনটা হচ্ছে আমরা অ্যাকচুয়ালি এক বছর যে আমরা যে লাস্ট মেতে এই ক্লাসটা শুরু করেছিলাম, আমরা অ্যাকচুয়ালি কিন্তু জাভার প্রায় অনেকগুলোই শিখেছি। এগুলা আর কি আমাদেরকে শেখানো হয়েছে, ক্লাস ক্লাস তৈরি করা, তারপরে ক্লাসের মধ্যে আরো ভেরিয়েবল তৈরি করা, তারপর লজিক গুলো আমাদেরকে শেখানো হয়েছে।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, বুঝতে পারছি।
হ্যাঁ, ওইটাই আমরা কন্টিনিউ করবো এখন, এটাকে প্রপার ওয়েতে।
ওটা আমরা কন্টিনিউ করতেছি, আমরা এটারে কন্টিনিউ যখন করতেছি এখন আর ওইভাবে করতেছি না স্টুডেন্টের মতো, এখন আমরা ফলো করতেছি হলো প্রফেশনাল দুনিয়ার যেই সিস্টেম, যেমন কিভাবে কেন আমি একটা ক্লাস তৈরি করবো। এখন আর আমি ধুম করে যে একটা ক্লাস করে সেলেনিয়াম ডাইকার রান করবো এরকম না। প্রথমে আমি বুঝবো যে ক্লাসটা আমি কেন করতেছি, আমার রিকোয়ারমেন্টটা কি, রাইট? তারপরে ফ্লো চার্টটা কি, সুডোকোডটা কি, এই জিনিসগুলো। কারণ when you start writing framework, right, that time this thing will help you. Actually framework কিন্তু লেখা শুরু হয়ে যাবে এখন থেকে। কারণ আমরা বন্ডটা একটু শক্ত করতেছি, বাট প্রফেশনাল ওয়েতে। ওকে,
জি, থ্যাংক ইউ ভাইয়া।
আর আপনাদের এই আগের শেখাটা আমার জন্য এখন একটু সুবিধা হবে, যে আমি ফার্স্ট যেমন এইটুক যদি আমার প্রথম ক্লাস হতো, রাইট, এই প্রথম এই পার্টটা করতে আমি হয়তো একটা ক্লাস পুরোই নিয়ে নিতাম, বুঝতে পারছেন? কিন্তু এখন আমি ফার্স্টার যাবো, যেহেতু ইউ অলরেডি নো লটস অফ থিংস। ওকে, কিন্তু ইম্পর্টেন্টলি সবচেয়ে বেশি ফোকাস এখন করতে হবে প্রসেসটা কীভাবে ফলো করতেছি, ওকে? কারণ এটা ইন্টারভিউ প্রিপ ক্লাস। সো কালকে কারোর সাথে কথা বলতে গেলে যেন ফিল হয় যে হ্যাঁ আমি তো আসলে ডেভেলপ করছি এবং আমার কাছে প্রপার ডেভেলপমেন্টের রিকোয়ারমেন্ট ছিল, আমি রিকোয়ারমেন্ট বুঝতে পারছি, ওটারে ভাঙছি, ওটার ইনপুট কি বুঝছি, প্রসেস কি বুঝছি, রাইট? দেন আমি ক্লাস তৈরি করছি, কি কারণে ক্লাস তৈরি করছি, লজিকগুলো কি বসাইছিলাম, ইফ এলস কেন বসাইছিলাম, ফর লুপ কেন করছিলাম, এই আর কি।
জি জি, থ্যাংক ইউ ভাই,
নো প্রবলেম।
বুঝতে পেরেছি।
হ্যাঁ ভাইয়া,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
হ্যালো,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ শুনতেছি।
আমি জাস্ট এতক্ষণ যা ক্লাস দেখলাম, তো আমরা আগে যেগুলা ক্লাস করেছি 1 বছর,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
আমরা আসলে স্ক্যাটারলি বিভিন্ন
বছর?
সময় বিভিন্ন জিনিসকে নিয়ে আসছি ওখানে।
1 বছর ক্লাস করছেন? 1 বছর লাগছে?
অলমোস্ট
1 বছর।
1 বছর।
জি।
তো ওটা আসলে প্রয়োজনে যখন যেটা আমরা টেনে নিয়ে আসছি স্ক্যাটারলি সবকিছু,
বুঝতে পারছি।
তখন কিন্তু এটা সিস্টেমেটিক ছিল না।
হুম।
এখন যখন আমরা একটা জিনিস ফ্রেমওয়ার্কে যখন কাজ করতে যাব বা অটোমেশন জিনিসে কাজ করতে গেলে আমাকে কাজগুলো সিস্টেমেটিক বুঝতে নিতে হবে,
রাইট রাইট।
যেটা আমি বুঝতেছি আর কি। তো যেটা আপনি এই ধরেন এই 19 প্রায় 1 ঘন্টার কাছাকাছি ক্লাস নিচ্ছেন, এটা হলো যে সিস্টেমেটিক কিভাবে একটা কাজ আমরা করব, তার জন্য আমাদের কি কি জিনিসটা লাগবে, কি কি র মেটেরিয়ালস লাগবে,
রাইট রাইট।
তার জন্য কি কি স্টেপ আমি নিব
Right,
এবং কিভাবে এটা প্রসেসিং করে কি আউটপুট নিব।
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ,
আমি যতদূর
পুরো
বুঝছি
জিনিসটা অবজার্ভ
এইটুকু।
করতে হবে। হ্যাঁ, পুরো জিনিসটা অবজার্ভ করতে হবে, কারণ এটা স্কুল না, বুঝতে পারছেন? আমি আসলে যা করি ওটারই আমি ছোট করে দেখানোর চেষ্টা করতেছি।
তো এখন এটা আমরা প্রফেশনালি কিভাবে করব সেটা হচ্ছে মুখ্য কথা। আগে আমরা শিখছি স্টুডেন্ট হিসেবে, এখন আমরা প্রফেশনাল জগতে যাওয়ার জন্য সিস্টেমেটিক যা করার দরকার আপনি আমাদেরকে ঠিক ওইভাবে এটা নিয়ে যান।
Exactly.
থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ।
Good, very good. So, okay, so let's go and start on hands-on. Okay, so now we will solve our first problem. Okay, so to solve our first problem, what is the first thing we need? We need a computer, right? So you can think requirement list. I mean, or you can just say prerequisites to perform the development. Okay, so what do you need? A laptop. So whenever you join into a company, they would give you a laptop definitely, or a desktop, or a virtual machine, whatever they give. Then softwares. Now what are the software you need here? One second. You need Java, because that's the primary language you will use. Then you need JDK. Now this is a very very interesting thing to learn, guys. When you say Java and you say JDK, these are two complete different things. Okay, Java is something called Java virtual machine. This is a runtime that goes to all the machines in this world to run a Java program. Make sense? Without this JVM, Java will not, whatever code you write, it will not work. Okay, JDK is actually library. This is a very important thing to understand. Lots of people don't know these things. Okay, and then what we need? We need editor, code editor. Okay, and then we need running terminal. So to run the program, we need a running terminal from where we run the program. By the way, it's not a software that you will see in a website. It's a software where program will run in terminal. Now, to do all this thing, we need to go through and then install Java. Installing Java is simple. Go to Google, download. I don't want to go through this. There are some video I shared you guys. Just watch, or you can YouTube how to install Java. But there is a shortcut. If you install JDK, Java will automatically install in your machine. All you have to do is after this install, you just check. Then code editor. Code editor, to write a program, you don't need any specific, like what it called, IntelliJ or Eclipse. You don't need it. You can write code in any place, even if you can write code in a command prompt. Okay, and then a running terminal. Now we will not use all those things individually. There is to make, so this is called to make life simple, okay, we will use AIDE, and the full meaning is integrated development environment. Now what is this actually? If you install an IDE, all the above item will be come together. That's the reason we use IDE plus some nice helper tools. So what it means is, instead of go install Java, JDK, code editor, and then terminal, all these things differently, in a computer, if you download a IDE, now this IDE, examples of IDE, examples of IDE, my favorite is Eclipse, and then there is one is called IntelliJ IDEA. This name IDEA is basically for Java. IntelliJ has other version for other language, but for Java it's IDEA. Eclipse is Eclipse. It's for Java most of the time. And then there is something called VS Code, which is very famous for web developer. And then, but even you can actually write Java code here also. Okay, every IDE has the capability. And then Visual Studio .NET. This is another one, and I'll give you some name that you might have not heard. Atom, Wavestrom, but forgot about all those things. Let's start with Eclipse, okay, so that we can understand the things much better. So what we will do first, we will now install a Eclipse, and it should automatically present me all those things. Now installing Eclipse is again a pretty straightforward thing. One second, let me open a browser. All you have to do is Google and then just say download Eclipse, okay, and then you just go to the Eclipse official website. Don't go to any unofficial website, okay. I think eclipse.org downloads. What is this? Actually, I'm seeing Eclipse after a long time. Eclipse ID. Which one is the original one? Maybe this one. Let's see. I'm not using Eclipse for a long time, but for your purpose, I'm actually using it. Install your favorite desktop. Yeah. So you can just come here and just say download. Most of the machine in our computer nowadays is 8664. I think this is for the new Mac, the M2, M1 chip. So no, don't download. If you are Windows machine, don't download this. It will create a problem. But this one is for all Windows machine and normal Mac machine. Okay. So you can download that, and after download, again, I will not go through this. There is video, nice video available. Okay, you just go next. That's it. However, I have Eclipse installed. Let me open it in my computer. Okay. So I believe you guys already have familiarity with this, all right, that the workspace. So a workspace is basically an Eclipse way of saying, hey, from today you are going to write code, which is a very important thing in IT world. How do you want to organize those code? We want to create a root directory. So that is the concept of workspace, okay? And then you can choose any folder, okay, or you can just keep as it is. You can also use this that it next time doesn't come, okay. So which one I should say? Reference code project. Let me take a blank one, a new one, so that I can show you everything from the blank. So let me go to browse. I will create a new one for you guys. So here is my directory of code. So I will create a new folder here. Transfo tech. And then I will name it as March 2025. Create. So I'm just creating a new folder, and that will be my new workspace launch. So what will happen then? It will give me a full empty blank workspace, a root directory where I can put all my project code and everything. Now when we come inside Eclipse, the first thing we do, as per my company standard, I should create a project. So you can create a project, file, new, project, or Java project, whatever you do. So let's do that, file, new. So this is a Java. You can put Java project straight, or you can just select project and then you can select Java from here. So same thing, okay? Java project from here or from there, it's not a big deal. So just go file, new, Java project, okay? And then you give a name. Then project name is employee calculator. Okay, and you see I told you, right, that it will come with all the Java JDK. If not, you can actually download it from here straight, but it's good to install Java JDK fast. So it will see this. I have Java 17 in my computer, and if I want some more Java, I think there is a way you can direct install from here. Okay, and then so JRE means JVM, which JVM you want to use. So I want to use Java. JRE means Java runtime environment. Okay, so I want to use Java SE 17. This 17 is the latest I have in my computer installed. And then click next. And then it says that I'm creating a folder structure for you. You have a project name employee calculator. Under that you have a project called SRC. SRC means source folder. So all your source code should go here. Just make sure everything is good. And I want your attention here in this place. This one. Now lots of time you guys actually don't know about this, but this is also important, you know. This is called output directory of your program. Whenever you run the program, a file will be created into this bin directory. So in your project, there will be a bin directory will got created, and this directory will contain the output. The Java executable program will be come here, and from there you can distribute. Okay, in Maven project we call it target, but for a Java development it's called bin. Okay, whatever it is, keep it as it is, click finish. And after you say finish, you actually get a blank new. Actually, this also give you a small sample code. We will not need it. Delete it. This will create problem.
Can you tell me the name again? What it called? The SRC folder in the what is
source?
Yeah.
SRC means source folder.
Source, and then
the bin folder is basically your output. Okay, so see here one more time. Let me. You see, sorry, actually I need to make it a little bit bigger. So here, you see this folder you just created. This is your project folder. Now, what is this, guys? Do you know what is this?
The library.
This is the JDK.
JDK.
This is JDK. Now, Java IDE, the Eclipse IDE is smart enough to show you the library. But if you don't use the IDE, you will not see this library. You have to know where the thing is. You can think like Eclipse here working as a librarian. Okay, now every time you create a project, Eclipse will help you in lots of different ways. So here it's actually showing you that, okay, I have created a project for you, and the project name is this. This is the place where you will write your code, and then this is the library, and you can actually organize and see the library also. These are the base core library created by the Java creator and people who actually maintain the Java, and they have lots of available class to make our life easy. Otherwise, we have to write it. And this is the reason Java is very famous, that there are lots of things already there. All we have to know which book to read to perform which operation. Okay, now the first thing what we will do, because we are developing a software which is version 1 of employee calculator, so we will create a class first. Okay, now here I need to definitely tell you, okay, first let me create the class. So I will say new, and then we'll say class, and then I will name it as a calculator v1.0. Then I will use a main method here. You see this public static void main. So let's select this. What is happening?
The package name.
Oh, it's asking a package name. Oh, no. Type name must not be qualified. I think we cannot put a dot with a class name. Okay. So calculator v1 just put like that. You cannot put dot. You see this Eclipse, because of Eclipse I know this, that okay, type nat cannot be type must not be qualified, so you cannot put a dot here. That is the thing is it. Okay, so calculator v1, put a public main and then click finish. Okay, now it creates a default package. We will not talk about package now, let's go to later, but you see this class here and it contains one method inside. So this is entire structure you I think already know. However, I definitely need to tell you something about class at the beginning. What is class in the sense of Java? Okay, simple answer, very simple answer. If you want to think like your employee calculator software that you are going to develop, right? It's a house. Right? And right now what I did is just created the project skeleton. So you can think like project src folder, okay, and then jdk. Right now at this point, jdk, everything together is just the skeleton of the project. But with a skeleton, the home will be not complete. What you need? You need to complete this home. Just think like you need a brick. Like that, 1 second. So you need brick. Okay. Every brick you can think like one class. Now, when you start developing the house, you don't know how many brick might be needed, but there will be much more brick needed to complete this house. So, in short, class is the main building block of a Java program. Okay. Sometime one brick can complete a full class, full project. Sometime you need 1,000 class to be created. Okay, whatever it is, you have to make sure that a class is like a building block. Without this, Java program will not complete. Without this, it will be just a skeleton. So that's why you have created the first class. Now in our case, we don't need actually much more brick. In one brick we can complete this house. Okay, now to complete it, what we do, let's go to our requirement and let's copy this pseudocode. And actually no, I will not copy this pseudocode right now, then it might be a little bit confusing for you. Okay, let's go and just simply, 1 second. Yeah, let's go to this. So what we have this requirement. In this requirement we need a name, total hour worked, hourly pay rate, and then you have to calculate the gross pay, and then finally you have to print the output with all those things, right? So what I can do here, simply just say system control space system dot out dot println, and then I can say employee name is, and then I can say Mr. Rasool, and then I can say employee total hour worked, then I can say 40 here, and then I can say employee hourly rate,
একটু বড় করেন ভাই,
oh sorry
এগুলো তো
এখন ঠিক আছে,
ফোনের মধ্যে অনেক সময় যদি দেখতে চাই দেখা যাবে না।
এখন ঠিক আছে,
জি ঠিক আছে।
okay, hourly rate is $10 per hour. Now I can just say employee gross pay is, now here you can just put a calculation, something like 40 multiplied by 10, and as per the mathematics, when you have literal or text and following with some number, it will not work until you put, don't worry about this confusion now, just be with me, I'll take you there. So I'm just saying that now you print that. Now this is actually the program as per the requirement, okay? So if you see here, I can just run this program and it will give me the actual required output. So if I say run as Java application, so the runtime is here also, right? It says, if you look into the result here at the bottom, so it says employee name is Mr. Rasool, employee total hour 40, rate is 10,400. The program is done, right? However, this is not done. This is not done because how you will make sure that next time this software wants to run for somebody else. Let's say right now I have ran and get the output for only Rasool. Then you have to copy and paste it here, and then you name something like Mr. ABC 50 and 10, and then you write again here 50 and 10, then you run it again. So this time you will see both result, right? So for Mr. ABC and for Mr. Rasool. Now if you continue using this software, then you have to continue copy paste and make lots of change, right? That's the reason a programming language comes with a concept called variable. Okay, if you use variable, then you can reuse same code again and again. Instead of using this code again and again, copying, pasting and changing the name, we can do some variable use in this program. Okay, now in our case we have input variable to be declared first, and then what are the input variable? First variable. Now when you write variable, I'll go with what is this string and all those things means later, but just be with me, okay? String, and then you name it as name of the employee, name of employee, okay, string name of employee, and then you say double is D small letter, total hour worked, and then again double hourly rate. Okay, now this is the variables. Okay, what is a string? Because a name will contain text, number all together. That's why we make sure that Java program take the name as a string so that it doesn't make any noise in future. But we don't want the double to come as, sorry, total hour to come as a double, okay, because this might need calculation, so it will always need to be put under a number variable which is called double. Hourly rate, same thing. Okay, so by seeing this, there are two concepts you are learning here. One is called data type, primitive and non-primitive, but don't worry about those things. These are the things that developer need to learn for you. Whenever you want to not reuse similar code again and again, variable declaration is your fast approach. Okay, there are more other way to make code readable and reusable, but this is the fast approach, the variable. No matter what, use variable first. Okay, so what will happen now if I have the variable in the second part? Now I can just say, instead of here, look, in this output declaration, right? So this one is called output
variable.
No, wait. Output printing. Now here you see this MD Rasul. Okay. Instead of writing here MD Rasul, what I can do, I can just say plus and then variable name. The variable name is name of
employee.
Yeah, name of employee. Okay. So this is the first variable you use here. Okay. Now see, this Eclipse is giving you a nice warning that hey, the variable is here, but it doesn't initialize. So let's initialize. Initialize means put some value here. So let's say our practice purpose, the first name is Mr. Himel. Okay. Right. Then the second one maybe 40 hour worked. So this you can put direct in number like this. And then equals to 10. Hourly rate is $10. So this one actually is string. That's why it need to be put it. This is called grammar. You have to follow it. There is no other way to actually train people. It's a grammar that if you put a string literal, you just put this way. But if you put a number, you can just put this way. That is fine. Okay. There is another variable also. I'll tell you later. But for now you can just come here and take out all those things that you need to copy paste again and again. Instead of that, you can just say a plus and then total hour worked and hourly rate. Here again, take it out and then say hourly rate, and this gross pay you need to do a calculation now here, and then that calculation is basically total, the variable total hour work into
hourly rate.
Okay, that's it. So this is the second way we have actually tried to develop the code. Now what is the beauty of this code? See, even if you need to run for multiple people, you don't need to change it, don't need to change and copy paste again and again. Let's run the first time and see the result for Mr. Himmel. Okay, so the first result Mr. Himmel is this 410 400 40 10 400, and now all you change is here Mr. X 50. So you don't change anything, don't copy paste, you just now change the variable. Did you understand the beauty of variable declaration in a Java programming language? Now you should understand at this point that why variable is coming. Now this is the main reason variable is coming, to make program. Let me actually write this, otherwise you will forget. Okay. Y class, okay, it is the main building block of a computer program. Then we can just say Y variable to make program reusable and readable. Okay, so this is the thing. So any question so far? So this is very straightforward, right?
Yes.
And you guys already fortunately know about all these things. Okay. 1 second, guys. So when you guys start first, right? Did you create a project and then class and all those things? Did you learn those things?
জি না ভাই, স্ক্যাটার্ড ওয়ে আমাদের করানো হয়েছে।
So you maybe just goes to find out a Selenium driver.find elements and all those things, right?
জি জি।
Okay, no problem. Okay, now if I see this requirement right now that I have developed, let's go and read and see if our requirement is fulfilled. So what it says. So if you read here, it says a small software developer company needs to create a program. Okay, we have created a program. This is the program employee calculator. This is the class of the program. This is the working code and it's running fine. Okay. And then for the first version of the program, the company wants the program to accept. Now you see, I have highlighted red here. If you look, we have solved mostly all the problem of this requirement, but there is one thing we have not solved, which is accept. Right now, my program is not accepting. If I run it, it directly print. Is it accepting? Is it saying me that, hey, enter your name or something? No, right? Make sense? So what we have to do, we have to solve this problem also. Now, to solve this problem, there are one library we need to use, and here comes the use of JDK. Here comes the beauty of open source computer programming. Now you can, if you don't want to a library, with your Java knowledge, if you have a good Java knowledge, you have to write 6,000 line of code here to just take input. But there is something already given. So let's go and use that library. Okay. So we can just say accepting, accepting input from the system
Keyword.
From the system. Yeah, system input system. Sorry. From the input system of my computer. From the input system of my computer. Now, Java, if you write a code, and what Java is helping us to solve a problem for input, if you can properly write, it's not only keyboard, you can actually give this information from a mobile keyboard also. I mean, anywhere a input can be given. Okay, but for that reason, we have to first take a help of a object which is already created. Now you can think like borrowing or copying some code in a very organized way of computer programming called object-oriented computer programming. Just think like that. Don't worry about OOP now. Just think that you can borrow or you can copy or you can create a reference of one very special program developed by somebody else, and that name is called scanner. Scanner. Okay, scanner. Then you can give your name. So you're copying. So this is the main class somebody else created. Now in your program you have two building block. One is your class, and now you are using another class, actually three. This is your class, one brick. You are using a string, that is another class. These are not actually class. These are something called primitive variable, okay, fixed. And then you are using system.out. These are also classes. So you are, see this, you are using lots of brick to complete your program. However, importantly, this is a class created by somebody else, and then you name it. You copy and give a copy name, scan, and then you say new. And why new and why? This is the syntax. This is the grammar. This is the way we do copy paste in Java program. Okay. Scanner, and inside the scanner you have to make sure you pass a very special statement, which is your computer system dot in. What does it mean is, hey Java, find out my computer input system, pass it to this scanner and give me a copy of this scanner into this small scan word. And when you take a reference of someone else code, you need to give that someone else a reference connection, and that is called import statement. In Eclipse, it's automatically showing you, hey, you want to use someone's code. Okay, then you have to use the import statement, and this import statement will always come on the top. You see this line number 1 now have an import statement. Now when you imported it, this makes a reference to that guy who created his class inside a project called Java, and inside that Java project he created a class called util. Inside a util class he created, I think it's util is a package, sorry. Inside a Java project he created a package called util, and there is a class called scanner. You are taking the help of that guy's class to your class as a copy, which we call object creation. Okay, so you just created an object here, copy the object name, and then you say also, while you give me this object, please take this system's input. This is a straightforward call. It doesn't need object. Just straight saying, hey, go to system means computer, right? System out, system in. Makes sense? See this? System out, system in. So take this input and put it into the scanner and give me a copy. Fine. So you got it. Now I told you, right, that if Java doesn't give you this, you have to write 6,000 line of code, which is this scanner class somebody written for us. So let's go and see his code, that how he written. You see this? I will click this. If you put the control key in Windows and command key in Mac, you will see actually a class that is under JDK or wherever a class is. Every class you can see. So I will go inside to this class. You see, this is the scanner main class. Okay, this is the class somebody created for us to do the scanning operation inside a machine. And how many line of code it takes to create this class? I think 3,000, sorry, 6,000 I took too much. I think they have refactored and less the code. Okay, whatever. Now you have a scanner in your code. Make sense? Now when you have a scanner, now you can use it to ask input for a user that, hey, give me a input. So I can just say enter employee name first.
আচ্ছা ভাই, এখানে একটা জিনিস জানতে চাই আর কি, স্ক্যানার ক্লাসের কাজটা কি?
স্ক্যানার ক্লাসের কাজটা হলো to take input. You will see it actually when I will run, then you will see. Okay, just be with me some more minute. Okay, because to understand it I need to run this code. Okay, then I will tell you. So system out.println enter employee name. Immediately after that I will say my variable name of employee equals to then scan dot next input dot next line, I think. Yeah, next line. Okay, so you are saying enter employee name, then scanner will the one who will take the name. This is the only way you can bring input from a user, otherwise there is no other way. There are other way also, but this is the best, easiest way to take input. That is the cause of a scanner. Okay, that's the reason I have actually created this object. Now we can do same thing for the next one, and I'll show you actually when I run employee name, then enter total hour. So you can say enter total hour, and then here I cannot say next line because the hour is a number, so I can say scan dot next double. Okay, because my variable is double, right? Okay, oh sorry, total hour log. So I need to give this one here, and then the last one is pretty much same. All I need to do is print the right message, enter hourly rate, enter hourly rate, and then next double, but this time I will take it from here. All right, okay, so now I have taken all the input. All I have to do is now print the output. Okay, so let's run and see what happened. Now you see something very interesting. Because of the scanner class, there will be something happen in our code which we need to observe. So just see, if I run this code now, it will basically not complete in one shot. So it's asking me, so if you look here, it's asking me employee name. Okay? And then you
Rather,
uh-huh.
আমরা এই স্ক্যানার ক্লাসের মাধ্যমে কি আমরা ইনপুট গুলো মানে আউটপুট যেটা আসবে সেটা আমরা নিজে নিজেই ডিসাইড করতে পারবো, তাই না?
Exactly. You can decide when you give the input that time. Okay? So if you look here, if I run this, it says, hey, what is the employee name? So I can say employee name is MD. So you see this is coming green. That means it is coming as a input. MD Rasul. Then you press enter. Then it says how many hours this MD Rasul work. So you say 40. And you say hourly rate of this MD Rasul 10. And the result will be exactly same that we wanted. However, we need to make a small change. In this case, we don't need this value to be initialized. Okay? That means we can keep the variable empty because we are taking input. Now even if I give this program to anybody, they can just run probability input like a calculator, and the calculator will give me total hourly rate. So let me run couple of times. So I will run one time. It says employee name, so Mr. X. Then I say 40 hour and 10 hours. So 400 is the result. Let's run again. This time I'm not changing a single piece of code. I will change the name here, Mr. Y. Then let's say 30 and 20. So his salary is 600. Again, if you run, okay, and then Mr. Z, like 50 and 50 is 2500 is the result. Now this program is pretty much ready to share. And you know that I told you there is an output folder, right? So if I go to my project now, even if the code, I don't need to make any change now. I can just go to open. What is that option? Open. Where is this option? Oh, sorry, property. And then if I go to this program, the root directory of this program, there is a bin, right? You see this bin? This bin, it has the output calculator version 1.class. Now this class, even if I give you, you can run with Java and get the results. Let's have a look. So I will go to my terminal for this directory. Right click, service. You can use command prompt here. But here I'm going to Mac terminal, okay? Just to prove that the software now can be used for multiple times, for multiple reasons without any single line of change. So if you see here, one second, let me make it a little bit bigger. So ls will show me the class name. So this is the program that you just developed, okay? It contains your code. This is the output. If you distribute it, this will use anywhere. I will say Java, can you run this program for me? And you say what it says, couldn't find the oh sorry, you cannot use dot class, okay? If you run, you should not use the class. Just name the name, don't the dot class. This is what it's asking me, employee name X, total hour 40 and hourly rate is 20. See this $800 result came. Now I want to do the same thing for another guy. So I can just say employee name Y and total hour 40 and then hourly rate is $20. So it's a different result. You see this, that you have a software now. However, you don't need to worry about developing a software, but at least the concept you understand, right? This is a very simple software you create, but in a big world, this software might have lots of things. Okay, and why you used variable, what is the scanner is doing here? This part is helping by scanner. This Y40 again and again you are giving, helping by system.output.println is giving you here the printing, okay? And then the calculation, see this result calculation, you did some plus minus multiplication is here, okay? So all those things combined together is a program just developed. But we need one small thing to do here, because as per the development rules, you should divide three parts into three different sections. Like input is one, process is another. Now process means we can tell about like this calculation here. Okay, this total hour work and hourly rate. This is a process. This is a calculation that we are performing. So why not we create another variable here, which we will name it as a gross pay, and then we add one middle entry after the input has taken the calculation or the process. Okay, and then we can just say, hey, gross pay variable, can you keep the calculation of these two variable here and store it into this variable, and output we just place here. Now the program is actually complete. So it looks pretty standard. We have a variable declaration which you will need all the time for to make the program reusable, and then we have the input taking part, we have the process part, and we have the output part. Now you have to one more time run this program, so a new distribution will be developed in the bin directory. So here md rasul md40, that's the first requirement is done. Any question now? Let's do some brainstorming together. Yeah.
আমি একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল, মানে স্ক্যানার ক্লাস বলতে কি এটাই যে আমরা ইউজারকে অপশন দিব বা সুযোগ দিব যে তার আউটপুট বসানোর জন্য?
স্ক্যানার ক্লাস
ইনপুট,
হ্যাঁ, স্ক্যানার ক্লাসটা আমারে হেল্প করছে। it just helped me to write those code to give a user enter input. Now I have a very good something. If you can, you guys did Selenium, right?
না না না, আমি বলতেছি যে এটা মানে আমি ইউজারকে সুযোগ দিব যে
Right.
সে নিজে থেকে লিখবে যে তার নাম কি, তার বয়স কত বা আওয়ার কত, এনিথিং,
Right.
এরকম না?
Right, exactly. This is
Okay.
পাইথনে তো শর্টকাট মনে হয়, পাইথনে তো ভেরিয়েবল একটা দিয়ে ইনপুট দিয়ে
why do
তারপর
you
বসানো।
talk about Python at this point? Don't talk.
না না, আমি জাস্ট বুঝতে চাচ্ছি, আমি মিলাইতে চাচ্ছি আর কি, যে আমি জিনিসটা তো বুঝতেছি না।
Same thing. Okay. Wait.
যে
Let me
এটা
tell you. I don't know if you guys did some Selenium work, right? So let's see if you understand this. So you see this 1, 2, 3, 4 line of code, right?
yes,
What is the important thing in this 4-line code? This object creation. First, you need this to get some help for your system input output. So this object you need to get some help for your system input, so for your computer input system. Okay, so this is the object you are taking from somebody else. Okay, and then another line I can write here. This is the object you are taking from someone else code. So scanner is, you have not created this class, right? Scanner is
no,
created by someone else. We focus with this word here, this sentence here, because I'll show you something very interesting, the way we can understand what exactly going on here. Scanner is created by someone, okay, and give us the permission, give us to use it. Okay, now let's go to something modern. Okay, here tomorrow you and I will develop a framework where we will write some code like this. I think you guys know that. Web driver equals to new
web drivers,
Chrome
drivers,
right? Okay, then you can pass some option here also. Just relate it from the left code to right code, okay? And then what you do after that? You just say, hey, driver dot find element, and then you say by dot xpath or whatever it is. You put some xpath here, and then you say dot click, right? Then again you say driver dot find element, and then you say by dot css, and then you say something, some css you put, and then you say get text, You guys did this kind of code, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now see
Yes.
what's happening here. The same concept, what you just did right now with scanner, somebody's code who gave permission to use it. There is a company created a project. So this one, now we talk about this WebDriver. The first thing is, okay, here. Now let's talk about this one. Project name, Selenium. Someone created it, Google. Okay, project name Selenium. Someone inside this developer of Selenium project created one. For now, this is not 100% correct, but for now, forget about correct. Just think like this: Selenium project, developer of Selenium project created a class, name it as WebDriver, and gave us to use it. So today your requirement was to take a input. Okay, so this requirement to take a input from keyboard. Okay, and tomorrow your requirement will be go to a website. So you can just think like when you have a requirement like go to a website Chrome, Chrome, and then click something, get text of some element. Same thing, right? If you understand the concept of scanner, then you will understand the concept of WebDriver. Today you are learning one requirement solving object. Tomorrow you will learn WebDriver. This way, day by day, you will learn more. When you use Cucumber, that time you will use some other object that Cucumber project gave. You use TestNG gave some other object. Even if you want to do some other thing like manipulate image or take a screenshot, those are different objects you will take help. And this is the learning. As much knowledge you have with an object that is right now in this world is created for different purpose, you are as better automation engineer. However, everything has the similar concept. What it?
যে ভাই আমার একটা প্রশ্ন আছে যে এই যে স্ক্যানার ক্লাস নিয়ে আর কি স্ক্যানার স্ক্যান ইকুয়াল টু নিউ স্ক্যানার সিস্টেম ডট ইন এটা কি চেঞ্জ করা যাবে নাকি এটা সূত্র হিসাবে থাকবে সবসময়?
Very good question. Yeah, this kind of question makes me feel good. Yeah. So here, only thing you can change. 1 second, let me change the color. Only thing you can change is this object name. For taking reference, so we actually call taking a reference, okay, of an object like scanner or WebDriver or anything, you have to follow the Java grammar of object creation, okay, which is this. Class name. Now this class name, you understand what is like it could be a scanner, it could be WebDriver, right? And then your object name, this you can give anything, okay, and then equals to new, very special keyword. You have to use it. Until you use it, this object will just be a folder. There will be nothing inside. If you don't see, you can use something like this. Still, this is also fine. If you look into our variable declaration, right, did you see we have not initialized anything here? This is fine. You can just create an object, just name of the class and object name, okay, but unless you put new, it will not be complete, okay. So that's why this new, you cannot do anything. New, and then again class name. This is grammar you have to follow. And then this first bracket, we call it constructor. I don't want to confuse you guys. The what is constructor? Just think like this is the way, this is the entry or the gate of the class to enter, and then you give some parameter to the constructor, whatever parameter you want to give. Don't worry about now that what is parameter. Are you clear or not?
Yes.
Brother,
Yes, brother.
স্ক্যানার হচ্ছে এখানে হচ্ছে যেমন হচ্ছে ক্লাস, কিন্তু ওয়েব ড্রাইভার এখানে ক্লাস মানে একটু কনফিউশন হচ্ছে।
হ্যাঁ
ওয়েব ড্রাইভার যদি হ্যাঁ ভাইয়া
বলো।
আমরা হচ্ছে ইন্টারফেস
এই যে দেখছো,
হিসেবে আমরা
আমি এখানে লিখছি, আমি বলছিলাম তখন যে ইটস নট 100% কারেক্ট, বাট ফরগট অ্যাবাউট দ্যাট পার্ট নাও। এই জন্যই বলি যে অনেক সময় না এই শিখাটাও মানুষের পাজল করে ফেলায়।
হ্যাঁ, আমরা সবসময় জেনে আসছি ওয়েব ড্রাইভার হচ্ছে ইন্টারফেস হিসেবে কাজ করে।
ওয়েব ড্রাইভার ইজ ইন্টারফেস, দ্যাটস রাইট। বাট এখন এই মুহূর্তে এই কনসেপ্টটা বোঝানোর জন্য, জাস্ট টু মেক ইউ ক্লিয়ার দ্য কনসেপ্ট, ওকে? Okay, I don't want, because interface is something, it's a very, very tough subject of Java. So that's why I don't want to bring it here. Maybe this is not the time to talk. But I just said that you just for some time, বলে না যে মনে করো পুত্রের বয়স x, করছো তো জীবনে অঙ্ক করতে গিয়ে ওরকম করছো না, পুত্রের বয়স x অনেক মনে করছো না? To just think like here, web driver is a class I'm saying right now. Just a concept understanding that whatever it is, you have to take a reference from some other project, which is some other class. You have to follow this guideline. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Don't worry about web driver is interface right now. That's why I say that don't confuse yourself. Just think like you don't know web driver is interface. You know right now web driver is a class. Okay. Unless you give it interview tomorrow, just make sure that you understand web driver is a class right now. Okay.
ভাইয়া ওয়েব ড্রাইভার যদি আবার আরেকটা উদাহরণ, মানে ওয়েব ড্রাইভার যে উদাহরণটা আপনি দিচ্ছেন, যেমন ওয়েব ড্রাইভার ইজ এ অবজেক্ট নেম, কিন্তু নিউ ওয়েব ড্রাইভার এখানে ক্রোম ড্রাইভার ইউজ করছে যখনই, তখন ওয়েব ড্রাইভারের একটা ব্রাউজার নেম আমরা কিন্তু ইউজ করছি এখানে ক্রোম ড্রাইভার।
Sorry, actually this is my mistake. Sorry, 1 second. I think let's make it simple.
হ্যাঁ, এখানে আমাদেরকে ওয়েব ড্রাইভারই লিখতে হবে।
No, wait. You actually gave a very good point so that I can change it also. 1 second. Yeah, very good. Let's do this. How about this? Chrome driver.
Exactly.
Now it's good?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Now clear.
Sorry. My mistake. Yeah. Any more question?
একটা কোশ্চেন আছে।
হ্যাঁ।
আচ্ছা ভাই, ইন্টারভিউ আর কি এখান থেকে আমাদের স্ক্যানার সম্পর্কে কোনো প্রশ্ন করতে পারে যে তোমরা কোনো ইনপুটের জন্য কোনো ক্লাস ইউজ করো কিনা, কিভাবে করো, এরকম করতে পারে কিনা?
হ্যাঁ, করতে পারে, কিন্তু ভেরি রেয়ার। আপনার আমাদের বেশিরভাগ কোশ্চেনই যাবে হলো 3টা জিনিসের ভিতরে। একটা হলো সেলেনিয়ামের যেই কোডগুলা, উইচ উইল গো, ওকে, আর হলো স্ট্রিং অপারেশন। আর এই সফটওয়্যার ডেভেলপমেন্টের কাজটা আমি করতেছি শুধু আপনাদের স্ট্রিং অপারেশনটা শেখানোর জন্য। আদারওয়াইজ ইন্টারভিউতে আপনি জীবনে কোনো সময় এই সাইডে করতে পারবেন না, অ্যাটলিস্ট কোডিং সাইডে। ওয়েন আপনারা বলবে যে আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, ওপেন করো তোমার কম্পিউটার, একটা টেক্সট প্যাড, অ্যান্ড নাও ইউ রাইট এ কোড ফর মি, ওই জায়গায় যেই আলো যাবে পুরো, আনটিল আনলেস ইউ ফলো দিস ডেভেলপমেন্ট গাইডলাইন, যেটা আমরা এখন করতেছি। তবে স্ক্যানারের কোশ্চেন ইটস এ ভেরি রেয়ার, ওয়েব ড্রাইভারের কোশ্চেনই বেশি আসবে।
জি ভাইয়া, ওই যে আপনি এখানে দেখাইছেন যে স্ক্যানারের পরে যে স্ক্যান দিয়ে একটা মার্ক করছেন যে ফর টেকিং রেফারেন্স, তো এখানে স্ক্যানের বদলে কি অন্য কিছু লিখতে পারি?
কোনটা লাইন
যে
নম্বর?
স্ক্যান যেটা দিয়া তীর চিহ্ন দিয়েছেন, এইখানে স্ক্যানের পরিবর্তিতে অন্য কিছু কি লিখতে পারি?
আমরা এখানে একটা মিনিংফুল কিছু লিখতে পারি, যেমন স্ক্যানার কিবোর্ড ইকুয়ালস টু নিউ স্ক্যানার লিখতে পারি,
বা ধরেন কারোর নামও লিখতে পারি, মানে কোনো কিছু।
ইউ ক্যান রাইট এনিথিং, বাট দিস ইজ গুড দ্যাট ইউ অলওয়েজ রাইট এ মিনিংফুল নেম।
জি, বুঝতে পারছি। হ্যাঁ, আর system.in এটা কি লিখতেই হবে?
হ্যাঁ, এটা হলো যে বেসিক্যালি স্ক্যানার ক্লাসটা যে তৈরি করছে, হি সেড দ্যাট আই ক্যান অনলি স্ক্যান ওয়েন ইউ গিভ মি হোয়াট আই ইউজ টু স্ক্যান। So this is your computer keyboard. System.in is basically your computer. System.out is your computer output. System.in is your computer input. System মানে কি? কম্পিউটার, রাইট?
আমাদের একটু যদি মানে এই যে সিলেনিয়াম সম্বন্ধে যেটা বলতেছেন যে ক্রোম ড্রাইভার বা এগুলো যদি প্র্যাকটিক্যালি একটু দেখাইতেন। এখন তো একটু ড্র করছেন, এটা ভালো, আমাদের কাছে থাকলো আর কি আমরা, কিন্তু এরপরে আর কি যদি আমাদের সেলেনিয়ামটা কিরকম ওপেন করে সেই একটু শর্ট করে বুঝাইতেন।
করবো আমি যাইতেছি, আস্তে আস্তে দিকে যাইতেছি। এটার একটা কথা আছে না, যে পিলার যদি শক্ত না হয়, ঠিক আছে, দেন মানে এখন যেটা গ্রাউন্ডটা তৈরি করতেছে, পিলারগুলো তৈরি করতেছে, ইট নিডস টু বি ভেরি হার্ড, অ্যান্ড দেন ইউ গো ফর দ্য, বিকজ উপরে যখন উঠে যাবো তখন জিনিসটা অনেক সহজ হয়ে যাবে। Don't worry, I will go there. I will not take much time to go there because you guys knows lots of things. I can see it. Any more question? Let's clear this part a little bit because this is a very good entry point of understanding Java programming.
জি, আরেকটা প্রশ্ন আছে এখানে যে ক্রোম ড্রাইভার ইকুয়াল টু নিউ ক্রোম ড্রাইভার, এখানে কি দুটাই কি ক্রোম ড্রাইভার হবে?
Yeah, same thing, same concept, right? If you say scan equals to new Chrome driver, right? So here you say it's Chrome driver equals to new Chrome driver. Now driver name you can change anything, my driver, Chrome,
ওকে,
whatever you want to change. But you have to follow the standard of new, writing new and all those things.
বুঝতে নিউ লিখতেই হবে।
New না লিখলে এটা কমপ্লিট হবে না।
আচ্ছা, বুঝতে পারছি।
All right. Okay. So okay. Now that this is just a basic of the software that we have created and running, right? Now let's go and check what is the second requirement is saying. First requirement you understand, right? That based on this requirement you have developed a software, but don't worry about test now. Okay, we are just talking about developing and understanding some basic concept like class, variable, and then creating a object reference. See here you are created multiple object reference. There is one is a string, this one is a little different, it's called non-primitive referential thing, so it doesn't need a new. But why, don't ask me now please, it will be confusing for you now. But here scanner is a standard object declaration. Somebody created a scanner, you take an object of that scanner and then you say I will use my system.in to work, which is basically parsing some data from the keyboard. Okay, and before every input taking you are giving a print. Okay, now let's see what is the next requirement is saying. So I will just open the next requirement now. Okay, version 2. I know it's 11. Give me just 15 minutes, 20 minutes more, okay? Because I need to at least give you these two requirement completed, and then you guys practice, come back. Because this thing is very base, and you need to learn this first with me first, and then next things maybe I can go very faster. Okay, the next requirement, what it says, do you see any change? Somebody read it and see if you have any change in that next requirement. A small startup software development company needs to create a program that will calculate the pay of its employee. For the second version of the program, the company wants the program to accept employee name, hourly work, hourly pay rate, gross pay, display the employee's name and gross pay. Do you see any change here?
Yes.
What is the change?
You have mentioned the number of hour worked is double to integer here.
No, that's not a change. Forgot about this. We are using double, right? Which one you are saying? Which number of hours? Integer. What do you see here?
Input variables.
No. Don't go this. Read the high level requirement. Do you see any change into the previous requirement or the new requirement?
And also the program should be readable and reusable.
That's the thing I just wanted to say. See, sometimes you can see the requirement is same, but still it's not same because there is one line added.
Yes.
And also the program should be
readable and reusable.
Readable and reusable. One second. Sorry. Yeah, I came back actually. Just went to washroom a little bit. Okay. So the now this requirement is pretty much same. But it has one extra line saying, and also make the program should be readable and reusable. Now in Java, when something says readable and reusable, this means you now have to organize the code. So you can think like the code we just wrote, right? This is calculator version 1. Let me copy this. Copy. And then I will paste it and I will name it as version 2. You see, it's automatically giving me V2. Okay, very good. So if I go to the second version now, the code will be same, but they say it, the company is asking me to make it readable and reusable.
Reusable.
Now what does it mean is that I have to give you a small analogy. So let's say you just did a work for me. So this is your desk table where you did some work for me. You put some item here, and this we can say papers. Okay, and then you put some item here. So just think like the variables, input, scanner, everything. Okay, then you can just say scissors or something like that. Okay, stationery. And then you put some item somewhere else. These are something, and then you have some item somewhere else. So this is a unorganized desk. Okay, so I can just say X, Y. Now what the program is saying that instead of putting everything like that unorganized, why not you clean it and make a nice organized desk so that everybody can understand what is happening. So what you can do, you can create a bucket and name it as all here, all paper here, and then you create another bucket and name it as all stationery here. Okay, and then this way you can create more and more bucket and just organize so that if somebody comes, they can read. Okay, if I need some paper, I will go here. If I need a stationery, I will go here, like a drawer, right? Something like that. So same concept we have to put now in our Java program. And for that reason, Java brings one concept is called creating methods, functions. So in our case, we can actually create 3 different functions in our program. One is, so see, this is already a function. You are inside. So let's go and create our function now. So we'll name it as same thing, the way it's written, right? Public, static, void, main. So you just follow the same thing, public, static, void, main. Sorry, not main. You name your name, get input. So this is our first method, and then second method you write.
Why Eclipse don't give any suggestion for public, static, void, like this kind of word?
Yeah, it give. You can create a function, but you will not find it now. When you have multiple class altogether, that time you can do it.
Okay.
Public, static, void. Then I can name it as a process. And this is a grammar that every bucket you create, it should have a starting and ending point. Okay. And then the final one is public, static, void, and then
bucket means we are creating a method here, right?
Yes.
Method or function.
Yeah. Individual method we are creating.
Output.
And one standard we have to follow, the method name should be always start with lowercase letter. Process and then output. Only class name will start with capital letter. And then we need to organize things, we need to here also write one thing is global variables. Why? What is global variables? I will tell you later. but just copy this part here, this global variables, all the variables that you need for the entire program, and paste it here. So this is your first organizing, so make it readable, that all your software related variables are in one place here at the top of the all method, but inside the class. And then this code you copy
input
and put it here. Okay, now there is one thing is showing me error, right? There is a reason for that, why it's showing that a static method can only take a static value. So let's put it static for now, just for understanding purpose. We will change it later. Don't use private, public, all those things. Don't ask me this question now. Just make it static for now. Okay, this one also. Okay, fine. So now the error is gone, and process you have taken here. Now the output. So just, oh sorry, process code is this one. Let's take it from here. Oh,
that will go fast.
Sorry,
this will go fast.
I made a mistake. 1 second. This one should go inside the get input method.
Yes.
Here. And then process should go here. And output should go here. And then the main now doesn't have anything. We'll go there later. But did you understand that I just made the code readable? Okay, and how it's reusable, I will tell you later. But you understand, right? Readable means if somebody else, let's say you are developer A, if now developer B read your code, he will understand that, okay, he is creating, the other developer has created some global variables, and then they created a method called get input. And then they created another method called process. So other people are understanding this. You can make this name more readable, but for now this is fine. Anybody can see.
G.
Okay. And now you have to make one more thing here. 1 second, guys. Soshi, R2. Okay. So here, there is a very interesting thing to understand here. If I
আচ্ছা
run
ভাইয়া মানে গ্লোবাল ভেরিয়েবল এটা কি
global variable means, like, let's say for each individual method you can create a variable, right? See, this variable declaration you can also create it here, but there is a problem. If you create it here, then so every method is an individual bucket. That's why I just give this name. So if you see here, but I told you, right, that these are buckets. Actually, method is treating like a bucket. Bucket means a box, you can think like. Now if you create the variables here, okay, as this box is not open to this box will not understand these variables, and hence this will not also understand these variables. But in your output, right, you need to be understand. So this last one definitely need these three variables. That's why in programming world we do this. If we create something all outside of these boxes, like let's say the variables, if you create on top of all the method, then this will be understandable by this method, this will be understandable by this method, this will be understandable. So this is like a shared. So you can think like global is a shared variable. Got it? If
যে কোনো মেথড এটাকে ইউজ করতে পারবে,
right, that's why it's
আমরা
shared.
যদি আরো যদি মেথড ক্রিয়েট করি, এটা গ্লোবালি অ্যাক্সেসিবল, মানে যে কেউ এখানে অ্যাক্সেস করতে পারবে।
Right, exactly. So this you can think like a global variables shared to all method. Now if in some point of time I create a variable somewhere, like let's say here I'm creating a string, okay, ABC. Now this variable, this input and output will never find.
No, this is not global.
This is called local variable. We'll go in this concept later. But you understand, right? This is called local.
Yes.
And local means just for this process. Only process will understand. Shoshi, দরজা রেট লাগে please. দরজা রেট একটু লাগে। এই তো আর তো।
মানে একটা প্রশ্ন ছিল।
হ্যাঁ প্লিজ।
প্রশ্ন হচ্ছে কি এখানে কি আমরা গ্লোবাল ভেরিয়েবল এটা কি পলিটিক্যালি কারেক্ট?
Yes.
নাকি এটা ক্লাস ভেরিয়েবল?
No, this is global variable for our, because we don't have multiple class, okay? Right now.
Okay.
That's why for our work only one class, and for this one class these are global variable. In some point of time we will need some local variable, we will go there. We have requirement for that. Okay, now let's go, because I have to wrap up the class also, but I'll do something, tell you something very interesting today. I mean right now, if I run this program, you see nothing happened. You see this no output. What is our expectation here? That it will say enter your name, right? And enter
Yes.
is, but you see this no result here.
Yes.
কারণ আমরা মেথড কল করিনি তো।
Yes, that is the thing you have to understand. Every class,
মেইন মেথডটাই করতে হবে।
right.
মেইন মেথডে সব ফাংশন রান করে।
Every class has one default and active method which is called main method. And you can think like the driver of this class. So if you want to really use all this individual method, all you have to do is call this inside your main method.
Main method.
So, and the call should be as per your order. Don't call output before process, okay? Okay. So this one I'm just collapsing here, and then finally the output. Now this program will work because main got the call to all the method. So this is called readable and reusable. Now so reusable is later, but you think like this. Now you have the readability of the entire program. That means you don't need to show the entire code also. All you need to show that, hey, I have developed a program, it contains a input, a process, and output. How the input, output, process, and output is happening, it's actually nicely organized into some methods. Okay. Now reusability comes here. Let's say somebody says I need to process 3 employee information. You don't need to now write anything else. You just write copy paste 3 times this. That's it. Now the program will run until it's hit 3 user. So let me run and show you what happening here. So the first time we run, enter employee name MD 40 and 10. So again it's asking me here, okay, now again you enter another employee. So I can say A 50 10, and then again third time it's calling me that, okay, enter B 60 20, right? So this, see this, now the program stopped. So I have process 3. So I have reused my methods. That's called reusability. You understand the readability and reusability?
Yes.
So now let me tell you one thing, and then let's wrap up the class. It's the entire computer programming is about this readability and reusability. Everything is in your hand. Only thing is that you need to understand where to read and where to reuse. Okay. Now you have a homework for next class. This reusability that I have copied and pasted these 3 methods, I want you guys just one time you will just call this. However, it can be reused 10 times without copying pasting. Okay. Just note it down. This is your homework. Okay.
In the function.
Yeah. I don't want this to be copy paste. In one time I will write. However, there is something in Java you can use or leverage that can give this same call 10 times. Okay. So just come back with this homework and I will ask you guys in the next class. Okay. All right. This is practice. Practice it, guys. I will share all this video and plus this requirements document. Okay. However, if you have someone inside, you have some good understanding of code, right? If you want to be a little bit advanced, just follow this other requirement also and see what we try to achieve. Everything has pseudocode, everything has flowchart. Okay, that's it for the today. Any question? Let's.
ভাইজান, এটা আমাদেরকে একটু ইসে হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে যদি আপনি একটু করে দেন, দিয়ে দেন, তাহলে আমরা এটা করতে পারবো।
কোনটা?
যেটা আমরা এই কোডটা যে লিখলাম, এটা জাস্ট হোয়াটসঅ্যাপে যদি একটা লিংক দিয়ে দেন,
Oh,
তাহলে ওটা থেকে আমরা ডাউনলোড করে আমরা
yeah. What I will do, this code we just created, right? I will post it everything here. I will just write it as a code in the Google Drive. You have the Google Drive link, right?
Yes.
জি জি বলবো, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ।
Good. So I will
Google Drive
post
আছে।
everything there. The code will be
But
there.
I have a
Recording-
question. One. By all the code it needs to be done in Eclipse, or may I do anywhere else, like
Anywhere,
intelligence
anywhere.
or VS Code?
You can do anything anywhere.
Okay. Okay.
ভাইয়া আমার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল, আপনি ওই যে কোডটা একটু যদি আমাকে দেখাইতেন ভাইয়া।
Open করতেছি।
আপনি যে স্ট্যাটিক লিখছেন যে
1 second. হ্যাঁ,
এই যে স্ট্যাটিক স্ট্রিং, আমরা কেন এখানে স্ট্যাটিক ইউজ করব?
আসলে কি
স্ট্যাটিক
জাভার
মানে আমি বেশি ভিতরে ডিপলি যাচ্ছি না, জাস্ট এতটুকু আমি
আমি
একটু সুবিধা
আমি
চাচ্ছি।
বলতেছি। Do you already know about what is static mean? What you know? Let me know in 1 minute.
ভাইয়া আমি হচ্ছে স্ট্যাটিক আর নন স্ট্যাটিকের মধ্যে মানে গোলমাল হয়ে ফেলছি। আপনি যদি আমাকে একটু বুঝাই বলতেন, আমি অনেকদিন আগে তো করছি।
বুঝছি। ওকে, আমি জাস্ট তোমার জন্য বলতেছি, বাট ইটস নট অ্যাকচুয়ালি উই শুড গো, বিকজ জাভাতে যদি কোনো কমপ্লিকেটেড সাবজেক্ট থাকে, ইন্টারফেস, স্ট্যাটিক, এগুলো একদম প্রধান। ওকে, আচ্ছা, জাস্ট টু গিভ ইউ এ কুইক রেফারেন্স, স্ট্যাটিক আর নন স্ট্যাটিক জিনিসটা কি। সো ইফ ইউ থিঙ্ক